What if after the country reopens, there's a second wave of the virus? That's why researchers are hard at work developing new therapies to treat victims. Neurologist and best-selling author Dr. David Perlmutter is here to talk about some of those treatments. And doctor, we also are delighted to welcome you back. Could you tell us about these anti-parasitic medicine that maybe have great effectiveness?
Sure, and there's a lot of research happening right now on a drug that's called Ivermectin. And Ivermectin, as you mentioned, is an anti-parasitic. It helps, it's used in third world nations, for example, to help people get over worm infestations, and even used here in the United States for head lice. It's used on horses and cattle, so it's widely available. And some very forward-looking researchers in Melbourne, Australia, have found that this Ivermectin, a very widely available drug, reduced the amount of COVID virus in a cell culture. I want to be very clear about that. We'll get back to that in just a moment. By 5,000-fold in just 48 hours. Now, we know that Ivermectin, anti-parasitic, has powerful antiviral activity. It's been used effectively in dengue and also in the West Nile virus as well. But I want to make one thing very clear, and that is that the current study that was just published did show incredible effectiveness against the coronavirus that we're dealing with right now, but that was not yet in humans. The very, very good news is that this Ivermectin is available worldwide. It is on the FDA's list, or rather the World Health Organization's list of what's called an essential medicine, because it is very effective and used worldwide. So once the human trials can get underway with a drug that's already approved, we might well see something very, very effective become available very rapidly. And I'm actually very excited about that.
It's amazing. You know, I used to keep horses, and we would, you have to worm your horses, and ivermectin was the thing we used to take the parasites and the worms out of horses.
That's right. People use it for the heartworm for their dogs. So it's very, very common. Let's just issue a caution here. That doesn't mean that people should consider taking their dog's heartworm medicine. We're still quite a ways away from making sure it is safe to use in this application and that it is effective. But my sense is that this might also prove to be very, very effective, and I've got a lot of faith in it.
Well, now, what's the latest on this plasma therapy where they use antibiotics from people who recover?
Another area that I'm actually very fond of, and I think that, this is not new technology. This has been around for 100 years, using the blood or blood components of an individual who has recovered from a particular infectious disease, because we know that that blood does contain antibodies, and those antibodies can be passively transferred to a person who might get the disease or might already have the infection and may well prove effective. We know that even back in 1918, 1919, with the Spanish flu, that the death rate in people who underwent this treatment, which was by our standards very crude at that time, the death rate was reduced by 21%. That's really quite astounding. The good news is we are now seeing a proliferation around the country of very simple 15-minute tests that can show who has developed these antibodies and who may therefore be a potential donor for their plasma. You know, people are wondering, what can each of us do right now to be helpful? How can we come together and serve? And one of the things I would say people should think about might be, if you've gotten through COVID-19, and so many people have, you may well be able to donate your blood. They take the plasma and use it as a way of preventing the disease in some people, or even treating those who are sick with it. So we have the technology even now, and I'm very, very excited about this.
Well, now, people we've understood that if somebody gets the coronavirus that they can get to be immune, but I understand some people overseas have gotten it and have reinfected.
Pat, you bring up a very good point, and we don't know if those individuals have become reinfected, or that the virus may have simply activated itself once again within their bodies. So this is a big question that's being answered right now. Unfortunately, the only study that is available to us that would indicate that immunity does occur has not been done in humans. It's been done in a primate, in macaque monkeys. And we do see that in that model that was evaluated, that they do develop immunity. So your point is actually very good in that we don't yet know, is this a reinfection with a slightly modified virus, or does the virus remain latent within that individual, and then is it able to reactivate itself? It's a very, very important question that we definitely need to answer.
Well, now, vitamin C is crucial to their immune system. It's being studied as a coronavirus treatment. Vitamin C, is that with the bioflavonoids, or how do they use it?
Pat, the use of vitamin C as a treatment for COVID-19, I think, is very exciting. You and I have talked about this in other applications many years ago. But there actually is good reason to think that vitamin C given intravenously may be helpful, because it's a powerful anti-inflammatory and, as you well know, an antioxidant as well. Let me break that down, if I may, just a moment. The real danger with this sudden surge of inflammation that occurs when people are quite ill with COVID-19 damages the body because it increases the production of these chemicals that we call free radicals. Antioxidants like vitamin C quench that fire, quench those free radicals. So that said, there is an ongoing study right now of using vitamin C given intravenously at a dosage of 12.5 grams twice a day for about 12 days. Now, we don't yet have the results of that study. It doesn't necessarily translate to then what would an oral dosage be, but I can tell you that having a good level of antioxidants like vitamin C on board in terms of your daily supplements makes very good sense, along with things like vitamin D and supplemental zinc. And I certainly think that this is a time that we want to tap in to the very nice anti-inflammatory aspects of things like fish oil.
One last question. You've got a wonderful book called Brainwash, and you talk about making good decisions. You don't make them from a place of fear. Why is that so important?
Our decision-making really represents a balance of two parts of the brain. As you mentioned, the fear center, called the amygdala, really leads us to make impulsive decisions that we don't think through and that don't really think about the longer-term consequences. Another part of the brain behind the forehead is called the prefrontal cortex. When we're in fear, we're not using this part of the brain, the forward-thinking, the empathetic part of the brain. And this is really, I think, the central theme of the new book, Brainwash. I'm happy to say now being published in 18 languages around the world. What a time for a book that focuses on our ability to calm down, make less impulsive decisions, and think about the future. Because, you know, Pat, we're going to get through this. It's certainly difficult right now. I mean, every time I watch you at the beginning of the 700 Club, I feel your frustration. We're all feeling that, but we're going to get through it. And the world will be a different place. But, you know, in many ways, perhaps it'll be a better place. What we see happening is in the face of all this adversity, look at how people are coming together. So, you know, maybe there's a bit of a glass half full here. Sure, it's difficult, but we're coming together and we will definitely get through this.
Wonderful word. Thank you, Dr. Perlmutter. And I will put my prefrontal cortex to work for reasoned decisions.
Way to go.
God bless you. The book, by the way, is called Brainwash. You can find it wherever books are sold, being sold all around the world. A wonderful, wonderful man of science and a man of God. I appreciate him so much.